Hiya girls, we are Barney and Lukey and we are the hot young visionaries behind Truffle Pig Wigs.
And this is Cliffhangers, the unofficial, unrequested and unhinged RuPaul's Drag Race recap show.
The views and opinions expressed on Cliffhangers are from a couple of women who just love drag and have zero real business judging it. If you are not a fan of red-hot acidic critique, turn back now.
UGLY, check out his giant brown eye, it's Barney.
It's not even that big.
It is compared to the GP.
Yeah, true. And introducing to the stage, if loving her is wrong, then 7.8 billion of us are right. It's Lukey.
I thought you were going to say, if loving her is wrong, I don't want to be white. Still true.
My identity issues really being pushed to the forefront there. How are you, Lukes?
I am okay. We've had an interesting week.
Haven't we? We join you this week from our why can't I talk properly?
Our Brownlee.
Our brand newly refurbished recording studio.
AKA The Snug.
Yeah, we've got some lovely sofas and armchairs now.
I'm cross-legged with a hot chocolate.
Oh, it's like a Marks and Spencer's advert.
We also introduced, I guess, the gorgeous and charismatic sensation, Victoria Scone.
Wow, really giving them the teasers there.
Well, that's what the whole point is.
Yeah, true.
But we don't actually know if we can release it because the sound is so bad. It's very annoying.
You wouldn't believe, ladies. Like you wouldn't believe. It is terrible. Well, actually, our sound was fine. It was something to do with the Zoom connection, wasn't it?
I blame the crumbs. Crumbs in the scone. I don't know. We also cashed in on a free brunch that we won at Grace Shush's Bingo. And on a personal level, I've nearly fully renovated the kitchen at home. Lovely stuff.
On a personal level? Yeah. Really thinking these listeners are really buying into your party.
You've asked me what I'm up to, or if not, you should have.
Let's talk some drags, Lukes.
Let's actually do it.
Previously on RuPaul's Drag Race UK.
So, last week, the Huns served 3 looks in the Miss Fugly Padge, and for the first time ever, they were against the clock. Very exciting. Kitty Scott Claus finally won herself a challenge and a badge, and then Vanity and Scarlett battled it out to Scandalous by Mystique, and unfortunately for the harlot, she was sent packing.
How'd you feel?
I feel that's how it needed to play out.
Yeah, they did what needed to be done.
Yeah, Vanity killed it. Who I actually don't even think she's maybe should have been in the bottom. But I can't actually remember. I get very confused because we watched the episode, and then the end bit is last week, and then I get very confused. Like, are we in the episode from the week before still?
Yeah.
It's hard for a girl.
But we join all the divas back in the workroom post Elim. And your first question I hear you ask so gallantly is, has anyone in Drag Race history come back from a 4th lip sync? How quickly they forget.
Well,
Taste Zura Radix.
Taste's 4th one was, if you're going to be a pedant about it, was the final 4 lip sync, the when everyone did it.
I mean, she still came out with a Jean-Paul Gaultier advert. She still came out.
You could say that she
did win. With Mugler. Yeah. I think she's doing just fine. Ella saying that she wouldn't be scared to go up against Vanity. I don't see that for you, honey. No. I don't see anyone going up against Vanity and being fine.
Well, at this point, we hadn't seen Ella perform.
And after seeing Ella perform?
We'll get to that, I guess. The girls asked, who do you think will go home next?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think there's a difference between who will go home next and who should go home next.
Because what you are going to do isn't always...
I think we would be foolish, I see, to not understand the optics of what is going on here with 3 skinny blondes at the top and Vanity. And I think that realistically, it is not there's going to be some tomfoolery afoot in the next couple of episodes because they have very clearly earmarked who they want to be in the top 3, I think personally.
Who's that?
Ella, Kitty and Crystal. But having removed... They all were serving very similar things in terms of drag. Obviously different variations, but they are all London queens that are serving similar.
I think of them all as blondes most of the time as well.
And they're kind of gorgeous women's. Do you know what I mean? Like when you've got rid of
your charities, your Theresas,
Yeah.
your Vickies.
Well, I just think that I think we need to be very conscious of the fact that from this point on, the game may not function that well in terms of fairness, but it will function well in terms of TV production. That's my thoughts.
That's Barney's
musings.
Yeah, I was thinking it's the only thing like that begins with a B for that, but not really.
Zero intellectualism, just vibes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm like.
I really love that Barbara Windsor wig that we actually get to see later on in the episode on Kitty. You know, when they were like pushing her around on the thing. That was very glam. Yeah. Like, lovely moment.
But I would think that ideally for me, personally, I could see Ella go home in lieu of, but it's just all about personal choice, isn't it? Because it's like, what do you want from your winner? For me, I'd love to see my winner be a fantastic performer. Fantastic. And that's what Vanity gives me. So I wouldn't want Vanity to go home. So I personally could lose.
But then
Ella.
again, she hasn't done well in any challenge apart from the Greek
Vanity.
one.
Yeah, I don't think she's done badly there. But then again, that's what I'm saying. Like, for your personal opinion, like, what do you want? I want a queen that you can go see in a bar. And I'm not necessarily that into going to see queens sing, just personally. So I like to see a really fucking banged out lip sync. So
is that an advert for Bang London?
So it's just it's all personal, isn't it? Who could you see go home next?
I would have said Vanity just because she's been in the bottom so much, so it's not.
But would you have wanted her to go home?
No.
Oh, okay. It has taken me 8 weeks to realise that Kitty Scott Claus's name is Claus like Santa Claus, maybe part of the Noel dynasty.
Who's the Noel dynasty?
Santa Claus.
Oh, right, sure, the originator.
Joyeux Noel, yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
It's a new day in the workroom.
Wowzers, Crystal is the youngest queen ever to reach top 4. So how old were Violet and Aquaria?
Aquaria was... I thought she must have just turned 19. They must both be 19, but Aquarius just slightly has a birthday later in the year.
But would Crystal be knowing exact dates and stuff?
I imagine if you think you might be one of the youngest, that's the sort of thing that you would fact check.
Because that is
fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And also to be killing it. But there's real parallels between her and Aquaria. Like, we've said that from the jump. Like, not stylistically, but I think that there's... Wow, you can't even turn your phone off. Or was that me?
That was you, bitch.
Wow!
I'm on airplane mode because I'm a professional.
So many people want a piece.
Shout out Jules, Barney's mum.
Shout out Iona Lily Maguire, actually. An insatiable energy. But... that is an absolutely fantastic shout, especially to say yourself. I wish someone else had said it for them, but a fantastic shout.
She's probably been waiting the last 8 weeks for someone to...
Yeah. But sorry, how old are you? Do you feel like we're getting a lot of Ella talking head?
I actually felt like it was the Kitty Scott Claus one-woman show Christmas number. I felt like she was the only one giving confessionals this whole episode.
I didn't even... That's weird. I didn't even notice that. I felt like they were really setting up Ella as like, you need to see this girl as at the forefront of the competition and as a front runner. And I just felt like we were like constantly being given what struck me is that the talking heads, I felt like, what is she saying? Do you know what I mean? Like, give
I'm really cool.
Yeah, like give us nothing. Why is this constantly being taken back to this talking head? And it's severely contributing to the overall energy of the show. I think like the talking heads are really weak this season. Sorry, I hate to say it, but like I'm not really getting much comedy. I'm not really getting much like asides or like commentary on what's going on. It just all feels the talking heads feel flat, which is like a real chance for you to learn about their actual character.
Yeah, I feel like it must be down to the questions they're being asked or like the prompts that they're given of what to say.
Why does Ella do that? Oh, I'm so uncool thing. She's like 30, isn't she? Why does she... That's the sort of thing that like an aunt would
She's
say.
an old soul, isn't she?
Oh, God.
Old soul, old hole.
Yeah, strange choices. But we find out that the mini challenge is revealed to be the Space Skittles will be overacting in the low-budget blockbuster Bra Wars, The Fempire Claps Back. Thoughts?
Question. Is there a big crossover between Star Wars and drag that I'm not getting.
Yeah, is there a big queer conglomerate that loves Star Wars? I don't think I've ever seen one Star Wars film in my life.
I've seen bits and bobs because I've had boyfriends that liked it, but I've never fucks with it. The only thing I can fucks with her.
Boyfriends that like Star Wars?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. But the only thing I can fucks with is
there much crossover of men that actually get girlfriends and men that watch Star Wars?
It's just me cleaning up. But yeah, The Mandalorian is sick. But
is that the one with the cute little baby Yoda?
Yeah, Grogu.
Oh, yeah.
Who I have a animatronic mini angel of. But yeah, but that's only good because it's got the most sweetest, adorable creatures ever existed in the history of time.
I'm not very into my space things. But
no, me not neither.
That green freak. Oh, I could cuddle him all night.
I found it weird they're doing an acting challenge with only 4 people, and then I wondered if it's because they expected there to be 5 and did a little rewrite, or do you think this was always what they wanted for the 4 people challenge?
I think everything is planned from the beginning.
But that means they would have... Because what you think, the double elimination was planned?
I think 100%. I think they knew at some point that they wanted a double elimination for the drama. I think that from past history... They have noticed that when they do acting challenges, everyone it gets washed over. And it's basically impossible to do a successful acting challenge unless there's a small amount.
Speak to season 2.
What exactly?
How many was that? Was that the final 4
That was
as well?
4. Yeah. But
sorry, I've got some of the Ashtanga cacao maca thingy stuck in my throat.
That sounds like in Zoolander. The Ashtanga maca frappiano. I would want to be the casting director. That would be a role that I would have to
I was saying this the other day. I always thought that'd be a job I would enjoy.
Shoehorn my way into. Which character would you have wanted? Who would you want to be?
Darth Shader.
Who's that?
The Ella's one, like the evil one.
Oh, in her
cutesy wig.
In her Mystic Meg wig. I'm obsessed with Crystal's 10 a.m. ABH soft glam. There were glimpses of transition shades. There was inner corner highlight. That leopard coat and the worn-in makeup. She was giving me Shirley from EastEnders. That glam.
Yeah.
I cannot get over that. Just like, like normally in the workroom, everyone's literally just like they've rolled out of bed. You're lucky if they've put a slick of balm on the lip.
A whole other face.
She is painted. I will put it up on the pod. There was one shot of her when she was like looking forward, and she literally had she's got like 6 colours on the eye. God damn, bitch.
And after last week, and I was going, look how she's got so much more confidence in herself. She don't need to wear all the bronzer.
How are you feeling in yourself?
So who would you want to be?
Well, probably. I thought the Ella character was a bit shit. I feel like they did have 2 or 3 good lines, but for something with only 4 people, I didn't really feel like any of the characters went anywhere.
Oh, I decided before I even saw. I just thought I would want to be the baddie.
I thought maybe C3PO because it's you can go physical comedy. You could get really physical with it and give it
real physical.
Yeah.
Would you like to take a seat into the Lukey Luck talent agency?
Yes, please.
I'd like to check your accents. So
Okay.
the line is, "You've fallen into my booby trap." Irish.
Irish accent. You've fallen into my booby trap.
Irish. West Country.
What is West Country?
Somerset, Devon.
Somerset. And what's the line? Sorry, line, please.
You've fallen into my booby trap.
You've fallen into my booby trap.
And finally, Scottish.
Scottish. You've fallen into my booby trap. Booby trap. Yeah, okay.
Don't call us, we'll call you.
Wow. Okay, now, let's turn it around, Lukey Luck. I'd like to hear it in a New Zealand accent. You've fallen into my booby trap.
You've fallen into my booby trap.
That was actually quite good.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. You've got the part.
Thank you.
Now all we've got to do is put this casting couch to some use.
I thought it was so shady that Kitty wouldn't let Crystal be one of the 2 out of the 3 roles that she wanted. It's like she's literally please don't make me be a robotic babe like I always am. And Kitty's like, no,
Can I tell you a little secret?
No.
There are people...
I won't keep it.
There are people in this life who make it easier...
2 types of people in the world. I get where you're going with this.
There are 2 types of people. No, there are people in this world who make it easier for you to not be nice to them. Kitty is not someone like that. If you were horrible to Kitty, everyone in the room would be like, you're a bitch. Crystal, unfortunately, is someone that people don't feel like they need to be nice to.
And people are egging on people to be horrible to her and fuck her up.
People are like, and you can see in the way, and it's something to do with her age, how beautiful she is, and how confident she was when she walked in.
And how much Rue is...
Aquaria is exactly the sort of person. People don't worry about their feelings, and you can see that with, like, when not a single person was like, I like what Crystal was wearing.
Crystal doesn't need another
Crystal arguably had one of
compliment.
the best looks, but literally everyone was like, oh yeah, I like this absolute piece of dog shit unitard at the bottom of the stage. Like, and this is just another case of it, that it's like, I don't need to help you, Crystal. You're probably going to win. You're 19 and you're probably going to win. Do you know what I mean? It's like, whereas it feels safer for her to coddle Vanity, for her to coddle even Ella to some degree, because Ella did just struggle in the singing challenge when she was like, I am the greatest singer.
She really struggles in everything that she says she's good at, doesn't she?
It's almost like, if you go on Drag Race, don't be like, I'm fantastic at this.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, very, very, very strange. What about Kitty in that Cilla wig? It was almost too painful to watch. So this is what could have been.
I know.
This is what we deserve.
So sad.
So nasty, isn't it? And I still can't believe that. Do you think next year someone's going to be like, I'm going to do Cilla back, and then we'll get it taken away from us again?
Probably, but GC
I'm going to
again.
demand, as soon as we find out who's on it for season 4, who goes away, as soon as someone says, hi, I need a wig and I need it in 3 weeks, I'm going to say, you can have half off
if it's a
if
Cilla
you do
wig.
Cilla. Yeah, I'll throw in a Cilla wig for free if you do it.
I didn't like how Kitty and Ella were kind of like sat together being like, oh, look how great.
Imagine not being a professional performer.
Yeah, and it's like, imagine if you used all this unqualified,
Vitriol.
but just like, maybe if you think the other two are going to be shit, maybe coach them if you're so good at it, so the whole team does better as a whole, like, rather than just sitting in the corner being like, we're so good, they're going to be so shit.
What's funny though is, we'll get to this obviously in the filming section, but like, I really thought everyone was at the same level. I didn't think anyone did better than anyone else. Everyone struggled in some small, minute area, and then everyone else also really delivered.
Yeah, that's reminded me of something I got a little bit hot about in the deliberations, and we will also get to that.
We'll get there. But can I actually talk about something serious?
You haven't got to ask, Barney. It's your pod. You can say what you want.
I find it really upsetting to see that someone with dyslexia is not actually supported properly. That is illegal enforcement in workplaces. And remember that this is a workplace. It's
literally the workroom.
Exactly. And it was just so strange that not only in the deliberation and critique later on, but also when it was actually happening. I don't know, maybe behind the scenes there was, but like, if someone had a physical impingement,
they'd get sent home.
Or do you know what I mean? Like, if someone had like a broken hand and their part of their challenge was just to be picking things up, they would be like, let's talk this through and let's see how we can help you. And she was like, I've got dyslexia, and like, the main bulk of it is learning lines and committing them to memory, and it's like, that's a learning difficulty, and it was just so skipped over. And also because Crystal's someone that's like, I'm not going to make excuses. Best believe if that was me, I would be like, where is my coach? Like, Michelle Visage, sit down with me. Like, I need
flashcards.
Yeah, like I just really hated it. It was just kind of like glossed over as if it like wasn't. It's like, oh, deal with that yourself. It's not really very important. As if she'd just like broken a heel or something. It's like, no, this is like really gonna like make this challenge really fucking difficult for her.
My loving partner at home.
Can you call it partner because it sounds more queer?
That's what I did just say.
Yeah, but just from now on, no more boyfriends and less deeper voice.
Sure. My boyfriend. He has dyslexia, and he showed me this website once that shows you what it's like to look at words. And it's like literally like the front and like the first and last letters will just be like constantly like switching place, and then like middle letters will be jumping around, and like it's a fucking nightmare. So yeah.
It was just strange. But let's head into the filming. First of all, do not step in that room and bring up the Marshall in front of Shelley Visage, because the first thing they'd be like, oh yeah, not like that commercial. It's like, we're trying to forget. Yeah, we're trying to forget, girls. Like, bad choice.
But shout out to Crystal in that faithful gold bodysuit from the Rihanna Rude Boy video that I rocked until the wheels fell off.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
At one point, all of the gold on the bum had just like completely worn off, so you just had a silver bum. Do you remember?
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Did you have a silver one?
No.
No, yet 100% it was. That the gold was like rubbed off.
It rubbed off between my thighs because I got friction there.
Oh, sorry.
Thick thighs save lives.
Sorry, wrong place, but
Thank you.
right story. Were they given these costumes, or did they have to bring a space costume? Because I refuse to believe that Crystal would have been like, oh, this $11.99 unitard off eBay. Yeah, I'll wear that on. Like,
I feel like they must have just been told to bring space stuff.
They were some
because
ragtag
then they, like,
outfits.
Otherwise, then, like, the whole casting thing's a waste of time unless that was completely just made up and it's like, we know who you're going to be because we've told you. But then you can't just tell we don't know who's going to be in the top 4, so you can't tell everyone to bring stuff. Maybe they just had a lovely little bric-a-brac
seamstress,
around the back.
Maybe a bit of leftovers, charity shop Sue. But yeah, I just refuse. I was looking at the costumes being like, I don't think none of these read as having any sort of stylistic choice that would have been made by like Crystal, for example. What she was in, I was like, there's no way that you would have chosen this. And also that Ella later on was like, I've never felt uglier in what I had to wear. So, I mean,
But
I
we've
don't
seen
know.
you in that wig earlier on, though.
Yeah, you do own that wig in several different colours. Yet more Chicago Bob wigs on the whole cast. The epidemic continues. I was wondering whether do you think the wigs are provided? You know, like sometimes they'll be like a wig's provided by Wigs and Grace.
Rockstar wigs.
Yeah, maybe this is like a Ray Wigs or like a cosplay thing that have just given them like, oh, hello, a Chicago Bob wardrobe in every single character.
But then gutted if you don't even get the shout out for it.
Yeah, strange. But I refuse to believe that in this day and age, all of them packed up their little Roxy number and went on with it.
Bizarre.
Believe me, this is the hill that I will die on. We can't see any more Chicago Bob wigs on TV. I can't do it. It is keep them for the hen parties. Please. The way Michelle Visage was like, all you had to do was paint your face blue. First of all, bitch, do you even understand how long it takes to paint a face? Because I don't believe she does. But she was fully glittered. There was light, there was shade, there was dimension. I thought that was a real read.
Yeah,
That
she had
was
really
like-
nice, like, glittery black contour.
Yeah, I
and
thought she
stuff.
looked fantastic and her face was really well done. And I just thought that was like, I would feel really disheartened if that was the first thing that I heard. Be like, oh, you just like threw a bit of face paint on and now you're here. It's like, no, I've taken ages doing this face.
I've just remembered something from earlier on as well. You know,
What?
when they were doing in the casting,
Yeah.
and Crystal was doing her Yoda voice, like, oh, like thingy from the In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
And they all laughed at her. That was actually a lot more accurate Yoda voice than whatever Vanity
Yeah, but
did.
remember that everyone is queer in this programme and no one... they probably don't even know who Yoda is.
Why did they put him on the show then?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. The crossover does not work, honey. Also, all the fucking gay what do they call them? Trekkies. Oh no, that's Star Trek. What Star Wars people? I'm sure there's a name.
No idea.
The Warsies.
But then it wasn't even fully from that because Barbarella isn't from Star Wars.
No, just lots of varied space references that didn't make. They had to throw something in that the dolls would
The
understand.
fact that anyone laughed at C3P Ho when that's like the oldest joke
Juke.
in like the book was mental to me as well. But sidebar from my dyslexic partner, they said that the way that Michelle dealt with Crystal was actually very helpful. Just like slow down, take a break. Like,
do you know what I thought? You know, I'm not always
pro visage.
Well, I'm always pro visage, but I'm not always fighting on her side because I think sometimes she's difficult. But I really thought that was a nice moment that she was like. But again, it kind of heated me up because I was like, I don't think they would have done that for Vanity. I don't think they would have like the fact it was Crystal. I felt like that was a really touching moment that she was like, you know how to do this, relax, and it's like quite often she just sits back and she's like, you're fucking this up.
I felt like maybe she was in on the fact that Crystal has
hope so.
dyslexia.
I hope so.
Because I felt like the way she was with it was maybe one of her kids has got it, so she kind of like knows how to deal with it, kind of thing.
Ella's wig was given. I was walking across the reception at work when I slipped. You know what I'm talking about? We'll put a picture of her up on the pod.
Through the warehouse.
Yeah. That old Mary Ann with the Courtney Cox bangs. You know what I'm talking about. We'll put a picture of her up on the pod. I love her. She... I slipped dangerously, injuring my leg. Straight away, Ella was crumbling, which was very strange, wasn't it? Like one line in and she was just spiralling out of control. She's like, oh, fuck, shit, bollocks. It was like an advert for better health.
Yeah.
Like, calm down, girl. Like,
But it's like you don't even seem to react professionally to you.
wow, you're
not
questioning
doing-
her professionalism.
I guess I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, what's her name from Strictly said she was very professional. But still.
Oh, Oti Mabusi.
Oh, no, she said Veronica was very professional, so I'll take it back.
Veronica prides herself on being professional, even when she appears in that green wig later on. I don't know. I was just so... I've been continually surprised by Ella's... She must... I think she's probably someone that self-sabotages a bit. Because obviously she went in and she was like, oh, this is like with the singing, this is what I do. Let me show them. Didn't do as well as she hoped and then spiraled out of control. And I thought exactly the same thing was going to happen with the acting. That she was like, this is what I do for a day job. Don't believe me, just watch. And then was just swearing, losing her mind, couldn't deal with it. And I thought, oh my God, are we going to get a bad... Is she going to be the worst in the thing? It was like, fuck. Like,
well, that's like opposite self-saboteur, because normally people are like, I can't do this thing that they can do. But
TKB.
she's like being like, I can do this. But then...
turns out you can't.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cute. But then the dolls re-enter the workroom on Elimination Day, and they're putting the final touches to their looks and just having a chit-chat. Hearing someone say, fucking faggots, unbelieved on the Beeb. Maybe there is a place for us on the BBC, honey.
I guess
they
there is.
really open up for the conversations.
Where does Ella live?
Dagenham. The drag beast from Dagenham East or something. Which would really have you believe... She really made it sound like she lived in sort of like deep Surrey or somewhere.
Yeah, when she's kind of like, oh, yes, kind of like the people in my area. What, Dagenham East? That's like even more East End than bloody Scarlet
I
Harlot.
do get it. There is obviously places in London that maybe if she lives in like a very residential area. But some of them bits of Essex are a bit more rough and ready. But yeah, I mean, it's not... You would think that somewhere that was so well connected to London would probably be a bit more liberal and a bit more understanding of... I don't know how how deep the drag scene is in Dagenham, but yeah, I mean, it's just really hard to hear. I don't know, as someone that, like, as a queer person that's like always lived in queer areas, like, you can't live in Dalston and be like... And you can't swing a dick for like a queer person every single place that you look. So it's just like I've never had to live somewhere. I suppose when I first moved to London, I lived in Tottenham, but I lived with queer people then. So it's like I've never had to live somewhere where I would experience that, being like freaking out, like leaving the house, like crazy.
But that's she was talking about that when she's up in it. Have you ever had to walk the streets in full drag?
I mean, yeah, like not like female illusion drag, but like, yeah, like on nights out and stuff, I've been like in paint and whatever, but like it's not
like on your own travelling somewhere.
Well, no, that's what I was just about to say. I would never be travelling on my own, apart from to like a job maybe, that then I'd be in an Uber, but then I'm like sunglasses on going. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not. That's the part that I find weird, like travelling by yourself. But then I suppose to a gig, maybe you're just going to the bar and back. But...
Well, yeah, that's what I would assume. Like people like, oh God, what's her name? Alexis Michelle, Subway Fish.
People that travel in full drag, like on public transport, mental.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I even hate
mental.
it when I have to. Today's a shoot day, for example, listeners. So I have to come in all my draggy
behind
makeup.
the curtain.
But yeah, like even as a woman, I just don't want people staring at you. I've just always, thank God for face masks. Love you, COVID, because it means now with my giant sunglasses and my face mask, you basically can't tell that I've tarted up under here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't be like on the tube being like, oh my God, like I'm scared. I wouldn't feel like fear from doing it. It would be the stares and the people wanting to talk to you. It's like, it's the sort of the intrigue that it would create that is why I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, turning you into like an animal at the zoo.
I don't think when I've ever been in pain at all, I've ever not gone in a cab to anywhere. Like, even if I'm in like a stage beat as a boy, like, I don't know, not for me. But it's so uncomfortable that the two extremes for drag queens are like, hi, I'm threatening your life and violence, or it's like, I'm trying to put my hand up your ass. Like, that they're like the two extremes. And it's like, it's so dehumanizing that these girls have to be like, oh yeah. Like, and I mean, we have seen it. We've like, I hate to be calling out the heteros on the pod. I hate. I love it. But girls at brunch, demons, the grabbers. Seen it myself, and actually, please, white gay men can be absolutely fucking terrible as well.
Can be.
Yeah, and often are right in front of your eyes. But they can also have absolutely zero boundaries for. But I would argue that the optics of if they are an assigned male at birth drag queen with another man being sexually inappropriate, that's a bit of a different optic. I don't know. Actually, that's not true. I'm talking rubbish. But should we take a break? Have you got anything else to say?
I was just going to say, like, having to like do burlesque, and sometimes when you have to walk through the crowd people would try and like grab you up, or like even like from the floor, like when you're like walking on stage, try and kind of like grab your leg or like pop your balloons or whatever. Just fuck off.
When we did our show at the Grand and we had to go through the crowd, I noticed that so much more, that like people like pinching my arse and like just like there's when I think for the normies, for the civilians, I think that they think because you're putting yourself on stage and that you're positioning yourself as someone to be looked at, that you're also positioning yourself to be someone to be touched. Which is so
they
fucking
paid
bizarre.
their money. They want to experience.
Yeah, but it's not the fucking Roman, like we're not the gladiators. Like, it's just so bizarre.
I don't think even then they were allowed to touch the gladiators.
I imagine they were allowed to have a little, cop a little feel. But it's just so bizarre that you would think that that extends to like physical touch. That to me is fucking nuts. And especially as well for women. Like, that's a whole nother barrier that you should just not be crossing.
Yeah, you should know what it feels like to be grabbed up when you don't want it. Although that did make me feel sick, and I thought, oh God, I did grab Taste the other week. But firstly,
You didn't grab Taste. Don't be putting that out into the world.
well, I've already told him. Then also I was going to follow it up with, but A, she was not performing. B, I felt like she recognised me, who it was when I was doing it. And C, it was like a hand on the shoulder.
I was going to say it's very different to like get someone's attention and be like, hey girl, rather than like they're talking about like, as you have seen, when someone's up on stage and people are putting their fingers underneath their leotards and stuff. Yeah.
That is extra gross as well. Like maybe I can kind of get like, I saw Charlotte Church on Old Compton Street and I slapped her bum. So,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You heard it here first, guys. She's
This
at the
was
very
back in
locus of sexual harassment.
This is in the 2000s. Anything went back in them days.
For Charlotte Church, the voice of an angel, this poor, I imagine what, 12 years old at the time?
No,
And
she
here
was
you
out
are.
drinking. But what anyway,
She was
what
out
I'm trying
drinking
to
at
say,
13, 14.
a slap on the arse is one thing, but then like to try and like want to like get underneath their costumes,
Yeah.
like into their actual skin
We
genitals.
hear about it all the time, don't you, with like artists when they're like, oh, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Adore. That she was like, I love to crowd surf, but I can't crowd surf anymore because when I do, people try and pull my dick out.
Ugh.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm tucked or whatever, and like people like try and like put their fingers in my ass and stuff when I'm crowd surfing. It's like, you fucking Drag Race fans are mental, absolutely mental.
But actually, no. I was going to say maybe she brings it on herself by saying that she loves to fuck the fans.
Wow! Do you understand the sort of energy that I have to work with on a day-to-day basis? Victim blaming.
I'm just saying. Maybe don't say you love to fuck your fans.
She's allowed to fuck as many fans as she wants. It doesn't mean that the fans that she doesn't want to fuck are allowed to
She
finger her
has
butthole.
embroiled herself in a verbal contract with her fans that says,
Everyone thinks that they've got a chance.
I'm a bit of meat. Slap me around as and
Nasty,
when.
you were nasty. Right, let's have a break, honey.
Oh, I need a wee.
Okay. Drum roll.
Please welcome back to the stage. She is the most confused drag queen in the UK. I don't know.
Oh my God. And I thought mine was bad. And introducing to the stage, it's Chrissy Christmas.
Oh.
I just hit my head on the wall cracking up like that. These are getting worse and worse every week. I literally forget about it until like then. Who the fuck invented Kissy Christmas? It is so weird and so
Is that,
strange. Kissy Christmas.
That one that thinks she's Venus Delight.
She didn't invent it. It's like I knew it before her.
Oh.
Kissy Christmas is a thing. Like
I'd
people
never
say,
heard
like,
of it
Kissy
before.
Christmas. Absolutely ridiculous.
Gross.
and-
Is it like Hollybobs?
Oh God, I hate Hollybobs so much. And then we see RuPaul, who is demonstrating how expensive looking can you look with just a piece of fabric wrapped around you.
The audacity of the hypocrisy, I
There's
cannot.
just no way that was Azaldi. I refuse to believe. Really,
More like Aldi.
It didn't even fit her body. Really giving you drag on a dime, wasn't she? Absolutely unbelievable. It looked awful.
But face and hair, lovely.
Well, also, of course, she's got masters of their craft at doing it.
Crosters.
Really chiseling away week after week. Michelle Visage in her marvellous Miss Maisel drag. Have you ever seen that?
Of course not.
No. Oh, it's 50s.
I've
That's
seen
all you
the-
need to know.
I've seen the adverts for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like some lame joke, but it's got, yeah, whatever.
And Russell Tovey, who is living proof that the gays will thirst over any white man that has just been near a dumbbell.
I just thought, what? Why is Russell Thingy a judge? Is he even queer?
Yeah, he's a perf, but he's on the main stage in a fleece. He is truly the Ed Sheeran of judges, isn't he? Like, oh, what, you couldn't even put a nice button-up shirt on, like a fleece.
They're very fashionable currently.
Not the fleece that he was wearing. Like,
better or worse than Meghan Trainor's Kigu?
Worse.
Worse?
Because Meghan Trainor at least had a beat on.
I mean,
I thought it was fun. I liked the beat. Like, at least she was like, even though what she was wearing was stupid, and also wasn't it Miley in the Kigu? Or did she also wear something terrible? Or has she never been on it?
Miley's been on it when she was in drag pretending to be one of the crew, but then she
yes.
wasn't in a Kigu.
Do you know what? It was when she did that video of her singing with Ariana Grande that they were both in Kigus. Oh, thank God we've managed to pack up the life of Kigus.
Oh, I've still got about 4 at home, including my custom hammerhead shark. Love them.
Oh, I actually do quite like them, just like not in the world of like I'm supposed to be dressed up. Like as a pyjama.
Yeah.
Too. But yeah, I just like the whole outfit. I don't subscribe to the idea that you like need to be formally dressed up on telly. It's just the whole Tovey vibe. It ain't for me.
No, it ain't for me either.
It really.
I did enjoy Jabba the Slut though as an option. That would have been who I would have. If he was an option, that's who I would have wanted to be.
And Princess, hey, I was like, please stop it.
Yeah.
It was like it's like he's cosplaying as a queer person, and he'd got a girl that has a gay friend. Not even a gay friend, like she goes to community college with someone that is gay in her class, and she had written jokes for him to say, for her straight boyfriend to be like, oh my God, and then say like, hey, like, oh, and then do this wrist. And like, it was so...
What do gay horses eat?
What?
Hey!
Like,
I did used to rinse that one out though.
Of course you did, but you're basic as they come. And then for our runway theme, we have Scene Stealers, which I actually thought was incredibly like an exciting... runway.
It took me a while to work out what it meant.
Just because you're an idiot.
Well, I didn't really know. Well, I still don't fully know what it means. Is it just someone from a film, or is it like an iconic, like opening look kind of thing? That's what I went with.
I would like to see what they had written down on their costumes list, but I would read it as the scene stealer is like maybe not the protagonist of whatever it is, but someone in a show, in TV or something, a character that steals it for you, that you're like,
but
oh,
with the fashions.
Well, I mean, I don't think it matters, but if you're presenting a runway, you would hope that it was the fashions.
I've based it off of kind of like iconic first appearances that you see people.
That's
so I've got 2 options.
Asked.
Well, they stole the scene.
Sure. But it doesn't have to be the first appearance. I just think it's someone.
But that's how I have interpreted it. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So who would you have done?
I had many thoughts. We are getting to the point now that there so many queer references have been done, overdone, overused, done badly. It's actually really fucking difficult to find characters that are widely known so that you don't come down and you be like, hi, I'm Greta from this like film, this Swedish art house film, and everyone's like, no, I don't get it, I don't like it. Or just things that are too bait going on and doing Gemma Collins. Do you know what I mean? Like it's really fucking difficult now to do good references, I think. I had 2 thoughts, heavily inspired by my recent film watching. My first thought that I think I would probably do is the Martian girl from Mars Attacks. But I think I've said that before, no?
At least twice, yeah.
Really? It's just because it is a look that I actually want to do. Hooped skirt, maybe roller skates underneath so you can glide around. But because I thought that maybe I'd said that before, I would also like to do, as I spoke with you before, Ruby Rod from Fifth Element in like the big leopard print JPG like suit thing, the blonde wig and like a microphone, because he is the literal definition of a scene stealer, and he's in drag basically.
Yeah.
Obviously minus the tonal change.
Sure. And would you do like a feminized version or straight up? Like a mini skirt suit?
No, I'd probably still do like a flared pantsuit, because it's like the whole thing of it is like the silhouette is so extreme. But I like obviously, and I woured do like textured hair and stuff, but I'd make like a draggy version of it. What about you?
So it also got 2. First off, Cameron Diaz's entrance into the bank from the mask.
The red dress.
Red dress, legs up to your asshole,
So
like
boring, though.
blonde wet hair, but obviously you'd have to make it a draggy version.
Yeah.
Or Salma Hayek in From Dusk Till Dawn with the snake and the hips and just the sex. They were my 2. It's not up for debate.
It's not. I'm not debating it. I'm just. I think you've clung too closely to the first appearance.
But that's when I think of Sting.
Ça c'est moi, honey.
That's what I want. Fuck off. You've got your own played out, same old references that you can't move away from.
Did you see Charity's Marge?
I did not.
Oh my god, it's so sick. She's like Marge covered in tattoos, like she's got like a jacket on that says like MILF and stuff. It's so good. Again,
that sounds good. Although as soon as you said Marge, it's like I feel like I've seen about 20 people do Marge this year
Halloween.
for Halloween.
Yeah, same. But remember that she would have done it so long ago that she was always ahead of the curve, wasn't she?
Of course, yeah.
And also, it's not just Marge. It's not just like a shitty Marge. Also, the way that she's done these like hip panniers so that like it's like a sort of like Mugler-esque silhouette where like she goes in like really tiny at the waist and then she goes straight out in the hip. And it's just the proportions of it are lovely. The face is like yellow but absolutely fucking gorgeous, like glam face.
What's the hair?
Huge blue Marge hair.
Curly
like,
beehive.
Straight up. Yeah, but like fucking huge. I don't know who did it. I imagine it's probably an arts and craft project from her because there must be something in it. It's fucking great. And I'm just so gutted that we didn't see it on the runway. But love you, Charity. But let's move on to the gals, I guess. First up, we have Crystal Versace serving Cruella de Vil, a look that we have often discussed, saying that we would love to do a fantastic take on Cruella. What were your thoughts?
Gorgeous. Yeah, Cruella's such a sick choice for literally any time you need to choose anything ever. The body, the face, the green, the red, 9 truffles.
9, okay. I thought it was simple and it was an elegant take on it, but it wasn't really opulent enough for me. I think if you're doing Cruella de Vil in terms of the Disney Cruella, fine. But the Glenn Close Cruella, it was like the dress was just too simple, and then the fur I would have liked. She's an avant-garde designer, and it's like the silhouettes are, I know it was based on it, but like they are covered in feathers. Like it is so embellished. The silhouettes are so extreme. It just wasn't going as hard as I would love it to. But so elegant, so refined, and as we've come to see from her, she likes simple. She doesn't go too like fussy. Yeah, so I gave it 8. I thought it was absolutely fucking gorgeous. Next up we have Ella Day serving Oompa Loompa.
You're waiting for me.
I'm looking at you, you're looking at me.
I thought it was a good lady version of an Oompa Loompa,
Okay.
but just unfortunately the colour of the hair makes me want to throw up in my own mouth, and
Fluency.
just like Oompa Loompa isn't a fantasy in any
It's
way
not,
for
is
me.
it? No, me neither. And my first gripe of many was that the bodysuit didn't fit. Like when she turned to the side and she put her arms out, it was so baggy on her arms, which I just thought, an orange bodysuit. Wouldn't have you just had it made to fit your body?
Well, surely it's lycra.
Yeah, just like lay down on the floor and have someone draw around you. And the orange of her face was a different orange to the bodysuit, which I just thought it was such a simple look. It was essentially an orange bodysuit with a couple of bits over the top of it that it just didn't hit for me. It wasn't for me.
Although I said that, I still gave it a 7 because I thought
7.
It's you've filled the brief fine.
Okay. I give it a 5. Next up we have Vanity Milan serving Halle Berry in Baps. First of all, have you seen Baps?
I have not, no.
If you
But
haven't,
you know I haven't, so I feel like you're just trying to ask me on the pod to try and call me out.
Who felt called out by that? Me asking you if you've seen it.
Have you watched the iconic black film Baps?
Wow.
I ain't watched no films though, so
I absolutely fucking loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was, even though, look, maybe range in the colour spectrum isn't something that she possesses. Sure. Has she been on the runway 5 times wearing orange? Yes, she has. But it was just, again, this is what I was talking about like it all comes down to personal taste. That she gave me presentation, she gave me character, I liked it, and that instantly engages me much more, even if like the look isn't that fantastic, which it wasn't that fantastic, but it had an interesting wig, the outfit was a bit more interesting, and she was selling it to me, so that's just instantly more interesting to me.
I just thought it was a shame that we saw, well, Utica wore it, but Simone's one was such a higher level, like the way it was made and stuff, the look and the hair. And in terms of the presentation, I felt like she was just really giving vanity rather than walking into a character. But I still gave it 7.
Yeah, I gave it 7 also, and I just liked it. I just thought it wasn't, like I said, she wasn't reinventing the wheel, but she sold what needed to be sold.
Sure.
Next up, we have KSC, Lady Scott Claus.
Obviously, your favourite film is Titanic. Obviously. Like, that is just the Kitty Scott Claus in a nugget. Just like, I love pop. I love Titanic.
I love Titanic. Rose DeWitt-Bucator as a character choice, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a Titanic gay, so.
How can you not? I was obsessed with when I say obsessed,
Yeah,
I
because
mean
you and Kitty Scott Claus are the same.
Obsessed with Titanic when I was younger. I even got my I'm sure I've said this on the pod before, my very kind and understanding dad to print out like sort of maybe like 30 to 40 different photos of Leonardo DiCaprio. I like emailed them to him at his graphic design firm and was like, hi, can you print these out in high resolution, high colour so I can stick them out on my wall? And he did.
He does work at a printing company, so it wasn't that hard.
I mean, he doesn't work at a printing company, but...
he owns a printing company.
Not even a graphic design firm.
Yeah, they print our
no,
flyers.
You have to send it to... He has to send it to a printer. They don't print.
Fine.
It was such a bang-on reference, and it was the reveal completely unnecessary, but I ate it up like gruel. Loved the story of it. I just thought...
Ate it up like gruel. That makes me think that you didn't actually enjoy eating it up. It was something forced.
Oh, no. It's like... Even though... Oh, no, that is true. Maybe that is a terrible fragrance to use. Like,
Fragrance? The snug's turned us crazy. We've got 2 heaters on.
I know, we are roasting in here. We're going to have to take some layers off. I just thought it was all fucking bang on. Like, whether you know... I mean, you'd have to be a dummy to not know the character. Whether you know the character or not, it's like, she, from the moment, like, she turned up with the hat, then she came forward, she was selling the outfit, and then when she came with the necklace and threw it off and stuff, it was just like, this is all working for me. I loved it.
I gave it a 7. I'm not really a fan
same as Ella.
Yeah. Okay. It was just like something from a film that I don't relate to. It looks like it. Congratulations.
You don't relate to the feminine struggle of being trapped in a marriage and being trapped by the weight of expectations as a young woman.
Struggling with whether to let the man I've newly loved drown in the ice cold water or not.
Yeah, whether to be arse fucked by Leonardo DiCaprio in a carriage. Or...
Why is it arse fucked? Always to the arse with you lot, isn't it? She's got a perfectly fine wet vagina that she likes to get pounded.
It is, honey. You don't know that the arse ain't wet either.
Ugh, gross.
They weren't douching back then. Wow. Look how quickly you bottom shame on this pod. She could either get pounded by by like a 19-year-old Leo DiCaprio with curtains, or by fucking Billy Zane, who is so fit. Billy Zane.
Yeah, Billy Zane's fun.
Yeah, fun. He's
Listen
fun.
to your friend, Billy Zane.
Oh yeah, he's so fit in Zoolander as well, and in The Mummy.
Yeah.
Just fit all round. Should we pivot into a Billy Zane appreciation pod? Because I'd be down for that. We can dissect all of his films and then find his online nudes. But yeah, he just an absolutely... I thought it was great. I'm sorry. What did you give it?
7.
7. I gave it an 8. And I just liked the presentation. Talk to me about your zinger and your minger, honey.
Me zinger has got to be Cruella de Vil.
I literally wrote, it has to be Crystal's gorgeous Cruella.
Yeah, it was...
Showstopper is what I wrote.
Yeah,
It
gorgeous.
was a showstopper.
The light fanning of the front was sensational.
Also, did you clock the double French roll with the black and the white at the back? Oh, it was heaven. It was sublime. And I was going to tell you who that was by, and now I can't remember. It was by... Oh, TikTok, if only we had that sound. I can't remember, but I will look as we're talking. Talk to me about your... Ouch. Talk to me about your minger.
My minger was that god-awful green...
Oh my God, me too.
...monstrosity.
And I feel bad because you know who it's by, but...
It's more the colour.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And the style is the literal style of their hair, so that's neither here nor there. I mean, nor that, like, that's no one's fault that the wig is ugly, but the fact is the wig is ugly.
The zits were stoned. And let me tell you, the wig is by Wigs and Grace.
Oh, wow.
But part of me believes that...
Better than a lot of their
Yeah, I was
stuff.
going to say, part of me believes that actually she bought the wig from Wigs and Grace and styled it herself. But then I believe that she would say, face by Dr. Motox. And the outfit, actually, for Crystal was made by Dee Delicious, her drag sister. So that's nice. Imagine if one of us went on Drag Race and he was like, oh, I'm wearing an outfit by my friend. I hope you'd like to be wearing 4-way stretch fabric and it is just a tube dress.
Yep.
Otherwise I cannot help you. But yeah, unfortunately mine was Ella's too. And it's just, do you know what? The only thing that's going to make a green wig look worse for me is pairing it with orange skin.
Yeah.
It was not the fantasy. Should we talk about bra wars?
Yes.
Like I've said before, I thought they all did quite well. I thought it all fell on quite a similar level and they did what needed to be done with what they were given.
Yeah, it's only so much you can blame the girls when, like, all they've got to do is read a terrible script. Like, you can't turn fucking wine into water.
Exactly.
Water into wine, sure.
But weirdly, I didn't actually think the script... We've had some real fucking doozies. But I thought BeastEnders and this one was actually all right.
I did not
terrible.
even get a quiver of a smile during the whole thing.
No, of course.
But I was
were you
laughing
really
at
expecting
BeastEnders.
it? Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Sure. I didn't think that the level of commitment and acting was comparable to what they were giving in BeastEnders. But I also didn't think the script... You know, sometimes, like, do you remember, like, the Drag Kanda script? And it was literally like, oh, my God, this is so bad. Like, it wasn't awful, it just wasn't great. Oh, it wouldn't be a TV show that you're watching.
No.
But,
I thought that Crystal's movement, from what I know of C3PO, was pretty good. The kind of jerky, bobbly head thing.
cannot confirm.
That's
or
the only
deny.
thing I've written about the whole thing. Why does Ella even own that wig was another thought I had.
I refuse. I'm. This is the hill that I will die on. They're not their wigs. Although maybe it's her Mystic Meg wig, because that was exactly the same.
Yeah.
It was the little Courtney Cox bang that was throwing me off. Like, why so short, bruh?
And it looked like it wasn't even secured on, like it kept trying to like fall back.
Yeah.
She needs one of those silicone wig bands, now available on trufflepigwigs.co.uk.
Don't be shouting them out because we've only got 2 left. We unfortunately went viral on TikTok and sold out of all of our silicone headbands.
But you can get on
basically
that
overnight.
waiting list, Hans.
I also, as well, what I found very confusing was that the reason why I refuse to believe that they are their wigs is because Crystal would not own that bob wig.
No.
So it can't be. That I think they were given elements of the costume.
I think they were given all of it. And sort of like, here's a sort of bunch of space shit you can mix and match.
Yeah. Because none of it was that specific, apart from the C3PO, but that wasn't even like giving you sort of real Robo. It was just gold. So yeah, but that's all I really have to say about Bro. Was nothing else interesting.
I also just thought that Graham's outfit made me want to be sick.
It was like an assault on the senses.
It's
It was like there was no
disgusting.
safe place to let your eyes rest.
Disgusting!
Hideous.
There is a certain subspecies of gay men who are like, do you know what? Sure, I've got no style. Sure, I don't understand anything about fashion or clothes. But what will really mask that is if I just wear very bright damask suits.
It wasn't damask.
Damask, no?
It was fucking babies. It was a baby print on the shirt and the blazer.
I actually...
Like photos of babies.
I've actually blurred it out of my brain. But like...
So gross.
That's in the same wheelhouse of just like bright, wacky prints. And it's like... Honey, just get yourself a nice navy blue and call it a day.
Oh, Jesus. Gross.
Also, I am one of them men. I have also own a baby. A baby suit?
Yeah.
Is he a father? Graham Norton. He's
They
a
don't
daddy.
let them lot have them, do they?
Wow. And then I guess we move over to the critiques, which again, to not address that Crystal has a learning difficulty, which limits her ability to perform like the others in the critique. Could someone not have been like, do you know what you did? Like, I'm really proud of you for how well you did considering your dyslexia, because best believe if someone had turned their ankle, you would never hear the end of it. If Crystal, like, I don't know, do you not?
Well, yeah, and I thought it was weird as well that it was like Ella struggled so much and they showed us that, but then it was hardly spoken about. But Crystal's was, but it wasn't mentioned that the reason she couldn't remember it is because she's got dyslexia. Yeah, that whole thing seemed... If it was like last time that Ella didn't do well and then it turned out fine in the edit, she got away with it as well. Like, these things aren't being fed to RuPaul, who, actually, I really enjoyed her look to camera when she said about the mediocre script. She looked like dead to camera. That was very good. That was very good.
It was like someone's getting fired.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the Pandora box thing all over again, which we're gonna have to think of a more sort of conceptual name for. The Pandora box curse is that, for me personally, as someone that does a podcast talking about drag, and I don't want to say critiquing because we're not at a level of it's commenting on commentary. Before all else, we're cultural commentators. When someone's drag character and styling choices are the complete polar opposite of your personal taste, sometimes each week it just feels like I'm getting the same thing over and over again that feels very one note, because it's never what I would choose. And that's what I feel like with Ella, that like, I respect her, I respect that she's a professional performer and that the choices that she makes, she likes. But I feel like I never really have anything to say because it is literally the opposite of what I would do. So it's like, I don't really have that much useful critique on her. And that kind of hit me with this thing, that I was like, do you know what? Like this, what she's wearing now, the way that she acts and the way that her drag character and stuff, for some, I imagine for other people, they're like, it's exactly what I love. It hits the nail on the head of what I like in drag. But because it's the opposite for me, it's just like, I don't really... Have I given one useful critique on her drag this whole
We don't critique
season?
Barney, we comment.
Have I given one useful comment, or is it just sort of...
I don't think you've given any useful comments since we've started podcasting.
Yeah, that's not what you're here for. But yeah, it's kind of the Pandora box thing that it's just like, each week I'm like, this is not for me. Do you know what I mean? It's never for me. But that's not to say that my choice... Neither of our choices are any better than anyone else's choices that they make. It's just, unfortunately, you've plugged in to listen to an hour of us moaning about literally everything. All of the critique was really positive this week, which I really liked. I know,
just working towards the end when they can't be horrible to the girlies anymore.
Well, I just thought that it's like, I didn't want to hear them be horrible to Vanity. I didn't want to hear them be horrible to anyone. And it would have been Vanity that would have got it if it was anyone. But I thought that, for whatever reason, and I say for whatever reason, you know exactly what fucking reason is coming, that they I've got a hiccup there.
Pops.
Yeah, they obviously just have decided at this point that they can see how they need the next 2 weeks to map out, 2-3 weeks or whatever, and that they're like, do you know what? Let's just be really nice to them and get the two tops to just have a gay old time. Very strange. But can I say something? Kitty Scott Claus, when she came back onto the stage, I did look at her and think, that hat needs a bit more structure. It looks like one of them sort of umbrella hats that golf dads wear. You know what I'm talking about? Like the ones that just spokes. Then when I was looking at one of them. Then when I was just like looking at it as she was talking, I was a bit like, it's like when she like nods her head, like the whole thing is like flapping, like it's made out of like cellophane. But she is the queen of the reference. It is constant. I'm so glad that what's his name? Him with the ears, Russell Tovey, that he picked up on that reference and was like, oh, is that reference? Because none of the other judges do. And that's like what we were talking about. It's like,
what was it though? Gavin and Stacey.
But it's so important to have British people that understand British humour, because even like Graham Norton, for example, he works on TV. He ain't switching on the TV all the time. Like you need different people that have an understanding of. They're missing out on so much of Kitty's humour, which the audience will not like. The audience will be picking up on it all. But it's like Rue and Michelle like don't understand any of it. So they would do better to diversify. I think get rid of Michelle and diversify the judges for the British humour, personally. But then we head into an Untucked, I guess. And isn't it sad to see Crystal defeated like this? I mean, justifiable.
2 weeks in a row now she's come in with a stank face.
Yeah, and it's sad, isn't it? Because I really thought from the beginning, I was like, well, she's going to win. Yeah. Like, it's written in the stars. And I feel like Vanity is constantly fighting to have to prove herself.
Well, stop being in the bottom then.
I mean, you got
me, gal. I really hate the thing of girls who know they're in the top being like, so, who do you think's in the bottom? Like, we all know who's in the top and the bottom. Why have you got to kick them when they're down? Like an extra pat on the back for you doing the thing that you say that's what you're born to do. Like, bravo.
And I think what's difficult...
what's bravo?
Brava.
Bravo. You bunch of blokes. You nasty bunch of blokes.
Is it brava for women and bravo for men?
I don't know.
No. But
I would assume so. Yeah. If it's a woman, brava.
Yeah. I think as well, what makes it extra barbed for me is that, like,
Shout out barbs.co.uk.
is that because none of them have done that well in anything really. None of the the runways have been fantastic. I don't feel like anyone has like smoked a challenge and you've been like, that was fucking yours. Like, oh my God. When you think of, I don't know, like All Stars, for example, the All Stars that we've just done our season on, like there was just some standout performances in some of the challenges that you were like, we think of Trinity K. Bonet doing Beyonce.
I can't stop.
Do you know what I mean?
I can't believe she didn't
just
win.
a couple of things that you're like, fuck, like you were so good in that challenge. We haven't really had many of them moments throughout any of this season of people like really doing well in the challenge. And so that then when people are like very arrogant about like, you know, like sort of like after the girl group challenge, when they were like, we've got a badge, we run the girl group. It's
There
like,
were no winners
you literally,
here today.
you won by default because the other team, like Scarlett forgot all of her words and she ruined it for the rest of the other team. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so when they have these like very strong, like harsh sort of opinions on other people, it's like Ella being like, so who do you think is in the top? It's like you barely, not enough for you to have this attitude about it. Do you know what I mean? Very, very strange. But I just don't like to see little Crystal. Do you think that the Queens talking, one thing that I thought when they were talking in this little section, that the reason it's lacking energy is because when the Queens are talking about things, especially in their talking head, it's just very analytical. It's not very like a friend talking to a friend and they're making jokes, they're being silly, they're pointing out, giving the little quips and stuff. It's just they're sort of like, yeah, this was really scary because we had to do this. They're just like saying, it's basically like none of them are there. They're not really giving you any emotive response about anything that's going on that's making you like them, apart from Kitty, who's going hard on her
Very hard, isn't she?
talking head. I feel like quite often when they cut to like Ella or Crystal, they're just sort of like, so now we're doing this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think the producers are asking them very good leading questions. They're basically narrating stuff, but you don't need to narrate it because we're watching it.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like much more like narration more than like personal commentary. I don't know. This season is a strange one.
So what did you think of all the shenanigans surrounding the lip sync this week? First seeing Vanity safe, and then seeing Crystal safe, and seeing Kitty and Ella looking like they're doing 50p, 20p.
Well, the switch up just proves how overproduced the show is at this point. It's like, we're not watching a drag competition where it's like, are you the best at what you're doing? Are you succeeding? Are you failing? Like, there's like such a clear produced trajectory of who they want in the final, what characters. It's just like so many things in this season. I feel like maybe more than any other season I've ever watched. It feels so exposed of how much it's produced. Do you know what I mean? Like how often have we been like, what the fuck? Why did they do that? Like it doesn't, and things haven't felt fair. You haven't really been able to understand why they've done things.
So do you think they did this to make up for the double elimination?
It's actually quite hard to say, because why have they done anything that they've done? Why did they keep two people when they shouldn't have? And then bring the same two people back to lip sync against each other, and then get rid of two people the next week, and then now this, like, it just all seems so frenetic and mental, doesn't it? Like,
well, I reckon as soon as I saw Vanity was safe, I was like, oh, sure, because they did the double elimination, so no one's going to go home this week. And they obviously enjoyed doing the winner's lip sync from the first episode. But I thought as soon as Vanity was safe, it was so obvious to me what was afoot. Like I wondered if Kitty and Ella were actually genuinely worried, or they were kind of hamming it up because we knew they won, they knew they won, or at least
they just didn't want anyone to go, did they? Like, for production wise, they're like, Crystal can't go. We don't want to see Crystal go. And then, as I mentioned at the top of the show, like, I think that there's a real consciousness of the fact that the people that they want for the final three are all white. And I think that there's obviously this has been in discussion so much. Like, if you think about like when Trinity was going to be the winner and stuff, it was like there's always a discussion about how the original cast was very, very, it wasn't a diverse cast anyway. So it's like, if you then ended up with 3 white blonde women as your 3 finalists, like the maths ain't math in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, already. So I think that if they draw out Vanity being in the top for as long as possible, then it doesn't feel like such a shock when they are going to be your final three, because they are going to be your final three. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they've kept Vanity around for as long as possible. But it's just all disgusting. It's all so gross. It's like none of this was fair from the beginning.
But forget about all of that. What did you think of the shenanigans? Did you find it exciting or fun or
not
anything?
really? I just thought it was rigor-mortis. But flipping to a winner's lip sync as well. Like, the one thing that I did quite like about it is I was like, we're going to see Ella after she said, "I'm about to give you a show," and Kitty. And
I thought, this is unfair. This is literally Kitty's day job, doing Girls Aloud.
I know! But they need more queens for the roast and for that final single. So they obviously have to keep everyone round. But then also maybe just get rid of
there is no final. Well, I don't think they release it in the same kind of way.
No, but do you remember they do that really badly mastered shit? There is always like a last song, isn't there?
Yeah, to the moon.
And they don't do it properly. Yeah. But they'll need more queens for the roast as well. Because you imagine if it was just like 3 queens, it'd be like so high pressure. But maybe better. I thought Kitty looked absolutely stunning in that lighting. Like, there was a shot of her and I was like, fuck. She's gorgeous.
Really going into that full-on tour choreo though, wasn't she? I would have liked her to kind
as it started,
take a breath and kind
That's
of
Girls Aloud choreo.
But yeah, I kind of wish she had sort of put some of herself into it rather than like, okay, you know this is the routine you've done 80,000 times, you know what I mean?
Just imagined, imagine what it's like Cheryl Hole sitting at home, like literally like finger clicking herself into oblivion, just like scream. She must be so happy, like just like watching her sister. They're both in Girls Aloud. They both got to lip sync to a GA song. Although not my personal fave, that song.
No, no one wants to dance come back.
No, I didn't. I don't love that Girls Aloud song. And there's so many bangers that you could get.
What about Ella of the Day slut dropping like it's 2011? Non-stop, wasn't it? That's like, she must have done 20 slut drops.
Yeah. Kitty gave you comedy.
Yeah.
I again, it's just not something that I would choose to do. Kitty gave you comedy, she gave you soft choreo, she gave you dips, she used every motherfucking millimetre of that stage, she put her whole Badusi into that performance. I just thought, I was like, wow, you're watching a clear winner here. Like, I didn't really think that, I didn't personally feel like Ella gave as much as Kitty. I was always drawn to what Kitty was doing because she was being stupid. She was giving you, I just thought it was a clear win. So I was really surprised by the outcome of it.
Yeah, it seems like no one wants to really a lot of fence sitting this season.
Yeah, there's like no rocking of the boat. But a Michael Bublé save really means fucking jack shit these days. Do you remember when it was like, oh my God, this is the first time that this happened? It's like, well, they've had like 10 this season. Like, it really just means nothing. It's like, that's what I mean by it being produced.
Well, this wasn't a double save. This was just no one goes home.
It was a double win though. Like, in the same parameters of it, it was like someone, if it's a competition, someone needs to win. It can't just every time be like, do you know what? Thank God you turned up. We've all had a great time. You're both winners. It's like, no, someone has to win. Because now, also, both of them have got a badge from it. So it's like, okay, so now the badge means nothing.
3 badges.
Yeah, and it's like the badge means nothing because you're just giving them out willy-nilly to literally everyone. Do you know what I mean? So, but let's talk Rose and Thorn. What was your Rose, honey?
Not a very good light to shine on the episode, but my Rose is looking forward so much to next week's episode, seeing the eliminated queens, Kathy Burke and Alan Carr kicking off.
I fucking love Kathy Burke. A real late entry, but a fantastic person on Twitter. Real giving you some great one-liners there. Mine was, I loved seeing, like I'm sure I said this before, but like, I really love seeing when they do a lip sync and the girl, the queen is like, this is my favourite song. And I just love seeing Kitty do Girls Aloud because as soon as it started, I thought, do you know what? If you gave her 90% of the other songs, I don't think she'd like sparkle in the way that she did. But as soon as that song comes on and she started pointing and marching around the stage, I thought, okay, this is a song that she loves and she is going to go fucking hard.
She kind of reminded me of like a sort of show pony or
Cheryl.
Something.
She is, they do the same moves. They have the same sort of like little dog energy. Like, I love it. Thorn was that they couldn't come up with anything from the UK, so they gave us Star Wars. Mine was that as well, that the acting challenges, why can't they reimagine it as like a part of the show? Like, give it some new life, do something different. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like they're constantly on the American ones, like experimenting with, let's make Snatch Game or whatever, the Snatch Game of Love, or like things to give it a bit of an injection of new vitality.
I mean, this is only season 3. And most of these people have probably only seen 3 seasons of Drag Race.
Sure. But it's like the actual sort of like the acting challenge as it is, of just basing it on something, it being a parody, a spoof or whatever. Like, I'm sure they could find something better to do than that. I don't know. It's like,
I wouldn't mind that, but I think it needs to be like, why are you doing
better.
Star Wars? Like, it's American and it's old.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's not new or interesting.
I wonder whether it's like that there's like not loads of things that you're allowed to legally do. Like, I was like, maybe if you want to do like Mean Girls or whatever, they're like, no, you can't do that on Drag Race. And
But
it's
again,
like,
still not British.
True. What would you like to see from
Ab Fab?
Ab Fab or Queer as Folk?
Yeah.
Them getting rimmed on main
I think
stage.
99
Come on.
might be a bit
Oh
much.
my God, imagine a 99.
But yeah, there's like plenty of
Yes.
things, like carry-on films they could do. Like,
That would be so good. Listen, if you can hear this, Drag Race, get Lukey on the fucking writers team.
I'd like to be a judge as well.
Would you? I would. I don't think I would.
I would.
Because once you've been on it once as a judge, you can't come back. I'd much rather be one of them sort of your M&EKs that gets to just like bounce in and out and just like you
How
come
many
back.
times has Paula Abdul been on? How many times has LaToya Jackson been on? How dare you?
True. Do you think I'm at the same level as LaToya Jackson?
No, but I am. You would only come back once, so I would come back multiple
I might not
times.
even come in once. But yeah, I'm excited to see next week's episode because I'm so excited to see the other girls.
I love seeing the girls return in their
too.
finery.
Especially if they're a bit hot. If they've got axes to grind, that's even better for me. How do you think someone like Charity Case, for example, would feel with who is in the final? Would you be like looking, being like, okay, I went home, so this could be in the final?
I
This
think
lineup.
Charity might find it a bit bland.
Yeah, a bit unseasoned chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also agree with Charity. So but yeah, I'm very excited to see the girls. And did you see a little glimpse of what her look? Some sort of like
No.
green moss tree.
Nice.
Something like that. But yeah, excited. And now are we gonna dive quickly into Dragula, honey. Let's talk drags.
So this week is the Iconic Monsters of Rock episode, which is as hotly anticipated as Snatch Game on Drag Race.
It's one of my favourites. I absolutely love it.
It
I
is
screamed.
my favourite, I think. Yeah, so the gals split into 2 bands and must put together a cohesive look and perform a lip sync as a band playing the instruments, as well as showing a different solo rock monster look on the main stage. Well, it's not the main stage, on the what do they call it?
The presentation.
The floor show.
The floor show. Hold that thought. Obviously, we've screamed this at each other as watching it, but like, tell the girls what instrument would you want to be doing?
Bass.
Bass.
I'm a bass girl. I'd love to
For
do
the bass
drums,
space.
but I wouldn't be able to have the stamina to go as hard on the drums as I'd want to for that long.
It's tough. Part of me, 90% of me thinks that I'd want to be the singer because it's like obviously the main focus and you could go really hard. But then like lip syncing is something that you do all the time anyway. But I feel like it is the focus. But then you have to really fucking be great. But yeah, I think I'd want to be the singer. What sort of look would you be giving me main stage for a rocker?
I'd be going 80s cock rock, Motley Crue style vibes.
I would be going like 2000 slime light cyber goth, cyber goth for it, and I'd be giving you like huge with a little hint of neo goth as well.
Sure. My personal favourite of the solo looks have to be Hoso Scene Queen. That was
Yeah. Very loved that.
I also love Bit of Betty's, obviously. Big, massive platinum mullet and leopard print.
How many wigs do we think?
3?
3.
I don't
reckon
know.
3.
Did you have a favourite look on the floor show?
I absolutely fucking loved Sigourney Beaver. Always. She and also a very interesting had to send her a very gushing message, obviously, straight away after watching it. Just like real they really have characters in Dragula a lot that like people really unafraid to be unliked on TV, which I feel like in Drag Race people sort of self-edit a lot more because they don't want to come across as like a bully or whatever. And it's like often they have people go, like if you look at us, like every single episode someone's like lost their fucking mind.
Yeah.
And this whole thing with Mary Cherry, like I just thought it was so uncomfortable. It's just like, you don't respect women. Let's call it what it is. Like, it was just
tell the people
misogyny.
what happened.
Misogyny. Well, like the Boulet brothers picked the groups and then said like to who else apart from Sigourney? Sigourney and
who was the other?
Who was the other? Was it
Darlie?
Darlie. Oh, so fit.
So fit.
Yeah, and the Boulet brothers are like, you are the leaders of your group. And they said that in front of the groups. And then the Darlie's group, they all worked very harmoniously, and they clearly had a shared goal as a group that they were like, we want this to be as fucking great as possible. Let's listen to the input of each person and see that like what we can build from the individual input of 4 different people. And it worked really fucking great. They were a great team together. Straight away, Mary Cherry was like as soon as Sigourney was like trying to like come up with literally any ideas, Mary Cherry was like, you're not the leader. And they were like, no, they literally said, I am the leader of the group. And they were like, no, that's not what they said. And just like, he refused to have any sort of authority and just wouldn't listen to anything she said, and said that everything that she wanted to do, even though the rest of the group were in agreement with Sigourney, that everything...
And Sigourney is a cis woman, the only cis woman in the competition.
Yeah, sorry, and so it was just such a strange dynamic because Mary Cherry just like refused to let Sigourney lead in. And I understand that maybe if you think that they're making bad decisions, but also we're adults, there's ways and means of talking to someone and saying, I think this, ... But it just felt like a personal attack of how someone refuses to let a woman be the leader. And it just felt...
Literally what's happening right now, every day.
Yeah, exactly. Well... You know, and it was so uncomfortable and so difficult to watch. And unfortunately, Mary Cherry, they out.
Well, yes, the winner from the band the winning band was Zenith.
And what's
and
a
the
Zenith?
main winner was Darlie, who was singing.
Oh, so fit.
I don't know what a Zenith is.
They did
like the
explain
biggest thing, like the peak of something.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And the losing band, Glam Rock, terrible name.
Absolutely bullshit.
Comprising of Our Angels Bitter Betty, Sigourney Beaver, Mary Cherry and J. Jolie. They were all up for extermination and had to face shock therapy in the Dreadnought Electrocutioner, which is basically some weird room where you're strapped to these chairs, and then I think you can kind of like vote on who you can electrocute, and until Mary Cherry was sent off to a better place.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. How would you feel about being electrocuted?
I quite like pain in a weird way, so I think maybe I would enjoy it. And I have actually been electrocuted once in a haunted house thing. You know, when you have to hold on to them things and you have to hold it on for as long as possible before you... Have you ever seen them? They're like 2 sort of like posts that you have to hold your hands onto. And the longer you hold on to them, it's like a fair. The longer you can hold on to them, the more you get tickets you get. And I kind of like loved the feeling of it. It's obviously not like hardcore like lightning electrocution, but it is like an electric current running through you. And I did have to stop because it was so painful. Do you know what I mean? It's like... so I don't know. What about you?
I feel like, yeah, it will hurt, but it's still a TV show, so they're not going to make it like really, really dangerously painful. So I feel like I'd rather do that than like animals. And
also, when you felt the fury of that dildo that you've got, that like, what is a little bit of electrocution, you know?
Exactly.
Like 9 volts of power running through you, running through your vagina.
I don't know what a volt is.
No, exactly. Yeah, but I just... Won't Dracula do it? That for a challenge, and then that for an extermination. Come on. No, ain't no one doing it like Dracula. As we slowly pivot into a Dracula podcast review show.
He's not giving anybody a chance. He wants to get out. He wants to go to the pub.
He wants to go to the pub. I wonder where she's at these days.
Find
I
out.
wish I knew her name. I'm sure you
can find it.
Yeah, 100%. Where are they now? And also, with the mouth. Palm that pecan pie. But yeah, love Dracula. If I could ask you now, give me your top 3 who you think is going to be in the top 3.
Of Dracula?
And then we'll come back now to this. at the end.
Yeah, because we forgot to do this with UK.
Yeah.
I would say Darley.
Darley. Okay, yeah, agreed.
And I want to say Sigourney and Betty, but I also want to throw Hoso in there as well.
That's the exact 4 that I would give as well, just out of like, I need my girls in there. And now I feel so much more calm that the sort of force of the misogyny has gone. Because if it was 3 episodes in and it was every single motherfucking episode that someone was coming for Sigourney, and it was, absolutely fucking exhausting. But tune into Dragula. Is it every Tuesday that we get it on Shudder?
I thought it was every Monday. I think maybe we forgot to watch it today.
No.
Working too hard, didn't we?
Or hardly working. Right, it's been absolutely fantastic. Love you, gals. And I guess we'll see you next week.
See you. I'd say like and follow and subscribe, but I don't know if anyone listens this long.
At this point, you've just
don't worry about it.
All right, love ya.
Ciao.